Beast Wars Episode 5, Chain of Command. Now this episode was really cool because it actually had a bit of a focus on Rat Trap, because he actually takes over a little bit for the team, because Optimus, for whatever reason, they go, they have this part on Earth, where they go to, and it's kind of like Stonehenge. It's like this big pathway of stones, and it's super weird. It's like these clearly weren't built by humans. If I remember right, they don't do like prehistoric, Neanderthal humans or anything like that in the series, but they touch on what this is, and it's some alien thing because they blow up something, because the Predacons come in, they blow it up, and this giant energy wave shoots out, and it like goes into space, and it brings down like this golden pod, and no one knows what the heck it is. It's this thing though, it kind of formed a message, or it sent a message or a signal, and it brings this pod down, and it takes Optimus away. Like, it zaps him, and seemingly he's gone, like he disappears. So Dinobot goes back to the rest of the Maximals, and he's like, Optimus has been deleted, which, it was a weird scene when they all go back, because, well, they don't even all go back, and that's what was weird about that shot to me. I was like, they're going to investigate like this crazy orb that came from space, and only two went from both sides, which I thought was so weird. It was like, it was Optimus and Dinobot from the Maximals, and then Megatron and I believe Waspinator, maybe? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Waspinator. So it was only two from each side, and I'm like, why would they only send two people from like this crazy orb? Like, they both full teams went when it was just a pile of rocks, because it was an energon source. But then this giant crazy space teleporting egg pod thing comes down, and it's just two per team. I thought that was the weirdest thing. I was like, they both perfectly only selected one leader and one follower, and I thought that was so weird. But they go back, and Dinobot's like, alright, he's gone, I'm going to take over for the Maximals, and I'll do it through combat. And Rat Trap's like, no, I'm going to be in charge. So at first, they're supposed to have a fight, but then Rhinoc is like, hey, we're going to do this like we normally do, which is a secret ballot. And it ends up being split, so one of the Maximals voted for Dinobot, which I thought was funny, but it's a mystery, so you never find out who it was. They don't even hint at it, unfortunately, because I kind of would have liked to know myself. But they split it down the middle, so it's 2 votes for Rat Trap, 2 votes for Dinobot. So it's like, alright, we don't know what to do. And then Optimus ends up coming in over the thing, and he's like, hey, Rat Trap, you're going to be in charge. And it was really funny, because he's like, I'm sure you guys worked out the chain of command. And I thought that was the funniest thing. He was like, it's so hopeful. Like, I'm sure it all worked out perfectly fine. But Rat Trap, you're in charge. And I thought that was so funny. Like, I'm sure you guys had it covered. I was like, alright, that was really nice of Optimus to think that everything was perfect, but that's kind of Optimus's character. Even if it's not Optimus Prime, that's Optimus. So much optimism. I never put that together. But still really fun. So they go through, they have their issue, and then with Optimus being gone, the Predacons officially outnumber the Maximals. So Megatron's like, alright, send 2 of you guys over this way, and the rest of us will go attack the ship. So we have Rat Trap, Cheetor, Dinobot, and Rhinox, or Rhinox. I always forget if it ends with a K or an X. But the 4 of them, they have to deal with not only possibly losing the pod and not ever getting Optimus back, even though they know he's like trapped in the pod somehow, but they also have to deal with being attacked at their own base. So Cheetor, Dinobot, and Rat Trap go out to fight, while Rat Trap tells Rhinox, you need to build something, which I don't know how he did it, but of course it ends up working and he gets Optimus out. But he's like, you need to build something to extract Optimus. So they go through, they have this crazy fight scene, and they have to figure out how to survive and how to protect the ship. And Rat Trap tells Dinobot, like, you need to basically press this button back on the ship, otherwise the shields are going to go down and the ship is going to be gone. And Dinobot's dealing with Megatron. He's like, basically kind of how Rat Trap has been the first couple episodes, F you, I'm gonna do what I want. So Rat Trap is like, crap, I have to do this. So he kind of had an Optimus moment where he wasn't being listened to by a subordinate, and he had to do it himself. And he's running to the ship. It was actually a really awesome moment. So he's running to the ship, and it was the pterodactyl guy again. I really got to get his. He's like the only name I don't remember, but it's probably because it's not like Pterodactyl Con, and everything else is so easy. But he's running, Rat Trap is running back as this dude is just shooting up the ship. And then he does like a crazy like Matrix sort of move where he does like a front flip and spin, where he spins and shoots and then does a dive front flip and hits the button at the last second. the shields reactivate so the ship doesn't get destroyed, and he hits him out of midair. And I was like, that was actually a really cool shot. It was so simple, but he's just sprinting, and then he just jumps, shoots, flips and rolls, and hits the button at the last second. I was like, that was actually really sweet. It was a simple little thing. It was just a cool action hero moment at the last second save, but it was actually nice. I thought it was pretty cool, and ultimately the episode ends fairly normal. Of course, Optimus ends up getting saved, but when they're trying to get Optimus, they have, it's once again like just like the beginning of the episode. It's a huge battle between all of the Predacons and all the Maximals. So Megatron has all of his people. They're just shooting at the Maximals, but he sends Waspinator to kind of sneak around them because there's all these stones, so they can't really see. So he sneaks around them, and as Rhinoc is trying to use like the sensor thing, and it doesn't actually end up working. That's not what gets Optimus out. But he's trying to use the sensor thing, and he's trying to figure out how to extract Optimus. He sees in the reflection of the pod that Waspinator is behind him, and Waspinator has his gun on. He's about to shoot. I guess he just wait till the last second to do it real close. But unfortunately, that didn't work for him. And Rhinoc spun around, and this is the first time they show Rhinoc's gun, because everybody has a gun in the show. This is the first time they showed his, or a gun or a blaster. Like either on them or an actual physical gun. Most of the characters, actually most of the Maximals have handguns or weapons they physically use, except for Optimus. He has like laser cannons on his back. And then, I guess it's kind of half and half, because I think Waspinator, I think his are attached. Like he shoots out of some part of his body. He shoots out of something. Tarantula shoots out of like all 6 of the freaking arms, so he's just got like Gatling guns just shooting off and waving at everybody. But Rhinoc sees the reflection, and he turns around and just unloads on Waspinator, and he has basically, it's like a compacted Gatling gun, and he's just unloading on him. And I was like, this is only a couple episodes in. Waspinator should not be a character anymore. Like, he shot him up so bad. He was like breaking parts off. He broke off like some of the little legs and stuff, and he blew off like one of his arms completely, like just blew off. I was like, he should be completely dead. He was shooting him up. I think he was just holding the gun down, and bullets were just shooting into Waspinator. That had to be a solid 10 seconds, or at least really close to 10 full seconds of him just shooting at one enemy, and he was just holding it straight. He wasn't like waving it back and forth. It was just right here for almost 10 full seconds, and I'm like, Waspinator should not be a character after this. His arm was blown off, like the wasp eyes and stuff when he transforms, like all their heads are like on their chests. The eyes were like being blown out, the legs, like I said, were being blown off, one full arm is gone. I was like, he shouldn't be a character. Like, that should have been the end of Waspinator. 5 episodes in, he's gone. But, him being messed up like that, he lands on the stone, and it reactivates this thing, and it actually releases Optimus. There's no, they don't know any of the answers, but Optimus gets released, and the pod basically vanishes. And they don't know what to really think of that. It's like, oh, this thing came down, someone got a message. Who's it from? We have no idea. Maybe we'll find out someday, so I'm assuming that that's going to come up either later this season or season 2 or something like that. But I thought that was cool, because when that thing first showed up, I was like, I don't remember any of this stuff with like crazy early Stonehenge type looking thing. It also, and I could be wrong, I could just be seeing things that aren't there, but the way it looks, it's kind of like a straight path, and then it goes into like a circle. It's almost like a spoon, so it's a straight line, and then it goes into the circle. And when I was looking at that, they were talking about like, oh, it's like some archway or something like that, and I was like, it's almost like a space bridge, and I thought they were going to flat out say it, but it looks a lot like the space bridge from the G1 Transformers, except the path is a little bit longer, and I think the circle is actually a little bit smaller. But the space bridge kind of has that, where it has like a little tiny walkway area, and I think it ends up folding in or closing or something, then it's just a complete circle. But that's what I thought of. Could have just been seeing that because I know it, so I was making that connection. It's not actually there. Or it could have been a reference, once again, to G1 Transformers, like they did in the sort of prequel comic book where Laserbeak, they have Optimus say a line that Laserbeak heard in the old movie, and they kind of referenced the movie that way. So, could be wrong. Could have just been seeing something that wasn't actually there. But I felt like that's what it was meant to represent a little bit. And it, of course, shot a signal literally through space. So it kind of was like the space bridge, the prehistoric version of the space bridge from the G1 Transformers series. So, thought that was cool. Like I said, excuse me, may or may not have been seeing something that wasn't exactly there, but that's just, based on, having seen pretty much every episode of the original Transformers. I actually remember a lot of it, so when I see stuff, I'm like, I feel like that's supposed to be a reference to the Space Bridge, and also Stonehenge as well, a little bit. But it was a fun episode. It was cool getting to see Rat Trap kind of have the spotlight a little bit in this one, and seeing his issues with Dinobot, which kind of, once Optimus kind of gave the word, they didn't have any more arguments. They just had the little moment where Dinobot didn't listen to Rat Trap's orders, and he kind of forgave him. He was like, after that happened, Dinobot recognized his mistake. He was like, you know what, you were really selfless doing that. And I think he was like, I'm dishonored, because that's like his whole thing about having honor and fighting people in an honorable way. So I thought that was cool, because I didn't really expect him to say that, because he's Dinobot and he's kind of just the bad guy. But it was kind of cool. He was like, you were really selfless, and I should have listened to you when you said that, because you were currently in charge. And he totally, apologized to him. I was like, that's actually really surprising to me. So that was an interesting little thing. Like, a couple episodes in, already got surprised that he actually, gave an apology to someone because he disobeyed an order. So thought that was pretty cool. Definitely a fun episode overall. As usual, I'm just excited to get into this. I wish I could just do it where I wish I just had more time to watch one episode and do a review like this, because I saw this one, it was hours ago. It was technically yesterday because it was like 2 in the morning. But it was a while ago, it was hours ago when I actually saw this episode, and I was like, I wish I could just review it right now, so I remember 100%, but I actually remember pretty much the whole thing. It wasn't too much that happened. It was kind of simple, but it was also a bit compact. It was a very action-oriented episode, so I think that's why it's not like too much to really forget. It was a big action scene in the opening. Pod comes down, Optimus is gone, little spat between the Maximals, then basically another big fight scene, and then the final big fight scene, and Optimus comes back, and he whoops everybody's butt. Like, he comes back, and then he just shoots everybody with his little rockets, and is like, thanks, Optimus, you saved us. I was like, huh. He just came in and just whooped everybody up. Also, I'm glad I thought about him beating everybody at the end, because when they first had the big fight at the ship, and Dinobot was going against Megatron, they had a hilarious scene where Dinobot was just destroying Megatron. Like, he was doing like a video game combo on him. He was like punching him in the stomach. He'd punch him with his left hand, and then he'd hook him, and then hook him, and then punch, and he just kept doing it. And I was like, he is destroying Megatron. Like, Megatron is like supposed to be like the pinnacle of tough, and Dinobot was just destroying him. Like, it was kind of back and forth at first, and they were each getting their couple of hits in, and then Megatron got like a few hits, and it seemed like Dinobot was losing, and he turned it around, and he did like 3 times as much damage, and it was just punch, punch, punch in the face, punch in the gut, punch in the face again. And it was so funny, but I was like, he is like whooping his butt right now, and it was really funny, but it was also kind of cool, because sometimes it's cool to see like the characters that are supposed to be like super crazy tough actually get beat up. And it was super early that it happened, and it wasn't just Optimus that did it, it was just another Maximal, because that's, always the big thing. But I was like, that's actually kind of awesome to see, because you don't see that too often. So I thought that was really cool. But definitely a fun episode. Of course, if you guys somehow have any comments, please put them down in the comment section below. No real questions. I'm probably going to stop questions because it's 3 seasons. I'm not going to be asking you guys questions every single episode. But if you do have any comments, of course, please put them down in the comment section below. And definitely, thanks for watching.